Welcome in to the Triple Play Fantasy Baseball Show. There's a lot going on in everybody's life, but they're not here to hear about our lives. They're here to about some fantasy baseball, and we're going to talk plenty of it today as we get to of course, our normal bit of rundown here as we do every single week. And as I can find the right, I should have my buttons queued up. Here we go. All right, so the players that wowed us from this past week, these past 7 days, kicking things off with Tommy Pham over his last 7 games, a 222, 276, 630 slash, 3 home runs, 7 RBIs, 6 runs, 2 walks to 11 strikeouts. He's got elite hard hit and exit velocity so far this season. And more importantly, he's hitting leadoff for the Boston Red Sox now, really making noise in that lineup, Marty Party. Is he somebody that I feel like in 15-team 5 outfielder leagues, he's a lock. But even shallower, are you potentially going to add him?
Yeah, I mean, and I put him on the bring out your dead list last week, so it's only right that he's since turned it around. But I had him on my team up until 2 weeks ago, and it's an OBP slug league. So instead of batting average, we have those two stats, and he's been actually a top 200 player in that kind of format. And when you're watching him, he just looks rejuvenated. I mean, Alex Cora, the manager of the Red Sox, clearly trusts him, put him right at the front of the lineup. So now he's hitting in front of Devers, he's hitting in front of Xander Bogaerts. And Pham said it himself. He's seeing the ball a lot better. And Nick Pivetta even said, you know what? He brings great energy to the team. So it seems like all around, when you're 32 years old, you need a spark. And it looks like getting traded to the Sox helped.
Is that Nick Pivetta pushing him in the picture that we see on screen?
Number 37? I don't know. Who's number 37 in the Red Sox? I'll do that deep dive for you.
Oh, thank you. But yeah, if you can't tell by the picture, that's Tommy Pham's looking like he's a lot of fun there. Let's go from the Red Sox to another red team here, and let's talk about Paul DeJong, who I've snagged in a couple places. He has been hot. 409, 552, 909 slash, 2 home runs, 9 RBIs, 6 runs, 6 walks to 6 strikeouts over that time as well. He's got 4 home runs in 11 games since he came back from the minors. 4 for 5 yesterday with 3 hard hit balls and 2 doubles in yesterday's game at Coors Field. And he was doing really well in AAA, an 865 OPS in his AAA time down there, and about a 24 and change K rate. So the K rate was respectable, and he's looking like a rejuvenated player now with the St. Louis Cardinals here. Little cheesecake. Is Paul DeJong is this a flash in the pan, or is Paul DeJong somebody that needs to be rostered?
I think you have to take him seriously because he has 30 home run seasons in his background, and he's up and he's producing again. We know about Paul DeJong. The book's been written on him, and I don't think the book has changed right now. He's a streaky hitter, and when he's hot, you want him in your lineup. When he's not, you're wondering when he's going to be hot again. I think that's Paul DeJong in a nutshell. Because he's 7 for his last 11. He was 14 for 99 before that. And like you said, he did this at Colorado. He had a big game against the Yankees prior to that. That's this big streak. But when you have if your team needs offense, you're not going to find someone with a higher ceiling at this point in the season at a shortstop than Paul DeJong for sure. Not off the waiver wire, not normally. So you pick him up if you're scrambling for a shortstop. I don't necessarily think this is going to stick. I do think that because it was in Colorado, a big part of this, it might be a little bit of that, but the ceiling is there, so you give him a chance.
Yeah, I didn't see the end of the game, but I know he had an 0 for today. But again, if he's hitting, the Cardinals lineup was welcoming in there. I believe he was bumped up to 6th in the order, and if he's especially in Coors Field like he's somebody you definitely got to put in there. But Paul DeJong, ride it while you can, while he's hot, because those are the types of pickups you might need to help make waves, especially in roto leagues here. This is a Doc guy, this next player, and I don't know why, because I feel like he's talked about him before. I think you like him secretly more than you let on. Tyler Naquin. I think this is a Doc guy.
It is a Doc guy.
Yeah, last 7 days,
He's
438, jacked. 471, 1188 OPS, 3 home runs, 6 RBI, 6 runs, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts over that time. Ground ball rates are a career low right now, and the numbers align to what he's been doing over the last couple seasons. But is he a platoon with the New York Mets? The New York Mets that have had, people like the big beefcake coming on here and getting every day at bats here, Daniel Vogelbach. So is Naquin somebody with the chance that he might not play every day, Doc, somebody that you would take a chance in adding?
Yeah, and he is going to be a platoon guy. And you look at his numbers last year, and they're very identical to this year. 283 against righties last year, 197 against lefties. And this year, 282 against righties, 191 against lefties. Now, you add Naquin because of the potential power he can give you. In April last year, he had 6 home runs. And in September of last year, he had 5 home runs. And I think with the Mets, he's in the best hitting offense. So obviously the power is there, but now there's more RBI opportunities hitting alongside players like Pete Alonso and Francisco Lindor. And the good news is, as a lefty, he's going to face more right-handed pitchers. He started 5 out of the last 6 games against righties. So you take the chance that, yes, he's not going to play every day, but I think he's going to give you solid numbers rest of the season.
Yeah, I mean, again, if you can handle the platoons, and this is one of those examples where if you're an avid fantasy baseball player and you're somebody that checks up on matchups ahead of the previous or ahead of the week looking forward, if you see that he's going to be playing a lot of righty pitchers, that's an example of he's playing 5 righties next week. Like, I got to get Tyler Naquin in there. Oh, they're playing against 3 or 4 lefties. I got to sit him. That's one of those things you can do to understand, to be able to utilize players like Tyler Naquin, who are really good platoon players for your team. The last player we'll talk about on the hitting side here, Vaughn Grissom. Yesterday, his major league debut, 2 for 4 with a home run and a stolen base, a 101.7 exit velocity off of that home run. It was absolutely smoked. I don't know if everybody watched it, but it was so swaggy the way that he hit it. I want to call him Swaggy V, just the way he is. He has got the chain. He's got everything that you want to see in a young player, just the swag that he has. He had a 324 average with 14 home runs and 27 steals in 96 games down in Double-A. I'm sorry, 22 in Double-A and the rest in Single-A. But there's been talk about the concern with Ozzie Albies returning. You have also Orlando Arcia returning. And is he somebody that potentially with a short shelf life in the major leagues, somebody that you could question if he's worth the ad? I do think he is. If you, at the worst case scenario, if you get a few weeks of Vaughn Grissom and he gives you 5 steals, again, this is a guy that already got 1 in his first game. If he gives you 5 to 10 steals sometime for the rest of this month and then gives you a couple home runs as well, that's somebody that's useful at this point in the season. Or let's say injuries play out where somebody else on the Atlanta Braves gets hurt and he's going to have a chance to get everyday at bats to replace that person. I don't think he's someone you can leave on your waiver wire no matter what. So I don't know if you guys feel any differently, but Vaughn Grissom to me is someone you got to pick up.
Yeah, and to be honest, if you play with people that maybe aren't as in tune with the recovering injuries from the Braves, but they just see a prospects coming up, like, this is the highest his trade value will be.
Yeah, but there's also the example of Michael Harris too, which people thought that he got called up, he wasn't going to last, and me included, and he's stuck around and he's been great. So I just don't think you can't just count on these guys necessarily not sticking around, especially if they're hitting. So I would make sure you make an ad for him. Let's talk the pitching, though. Let's go to the pitching side of things. Let's talk about Blue Steele. Justin Steele, over his last 2 outings, 10.2 innings, 12 hits, a 1.66 ERA, 1 walk, and 19 strikeouts. And I want to cite SP Streamer because he actually did the research for me. When I was going to look up, I saw he tweeted about it. His last 7 starts, a 1.95 ERA, a 28% K rate, and a 51.5% ground ball rate. And he's used his slider over 30% in each of his last 2 starts. He's really starting to lean on that slider. Marty Party, he looks like a completely different pitcher. The 19 Ks recently over his last 2 outings, striking out player after player. Is Justin Steele, Blue Steele, somebody that we got to add?
I would add him in the right matchup, like in a 10-team league, 12-team. That's maybe somebody you'll want to actually just pick up and keep on your bench, play him in the right matchup. 15-team leagues, I'm sure he's already scooped. And if we extrapolate it out a little bit more, over 101.2 innings pitched this year, he has 106 strikeouts. So with the 3.65 expected ERA, across the board, he's doing a great job of limiting hard contact. Now, he doesn't have the best stuff, even though his slider is somewhat improved. Just overall, nothing really sticks out there. But since the Cubs made him a starter in April, he has not given up more than 3 runs in any outing. So it's playing well for him.
Yeah, Justin Blue Steele is somebody that's been a nice little find for the Chicago Cubs. And his slider actually this year, I'm looking it up, I believe has, what is the whiff rate on it? It's a 32.8% whiff rate. and a 25% put away rate. So it's been a decent pitch for him. Somebody also with a 129 batting average and a 167 expected batting average again. So it's been a very big money pitch for him. Doc, let's talk about Kris Bubic here, or is Kris Bubic, however you want to call him here. Last 2 starts, 11.2, 11 hits, 11.2 innings pitched, 11 hits, a 2.31 ERA, 4 walks to 12 strikeouts. Not giving up more than 3 earned runs in his last 8 starts. StatCast page, though, is that Mr. Freeze. It's a ton of blue. Is Kris Bubic somebody that you're just looking to play in the right matchups, or is he somebody that you think could be matchup proof?
You're definitely playing him in the right matchups, and that might be a stretch. We've talked about the innings pitched, and he's an innings eater. And I think for the Royals who aren't contending this year, it's good to get him out there. He has 86 for the inning or for the year, pitched 130 last year. But he is what he is. He has a 146 whip for his career, including a 156 whip this year. He has a 5.02 ERA and a 5.56 expected ERA. He gives up a lot of home runs. This is a career high in home runs. Lowest K percentage of his career at 19. And he's given up 45.1% hard hit percentage. And besides the Tigers, sorry, Marty, the AL Central teams can hit. The White Sox can, the Twins can, and the Guardians can. So I think you play him if it's risky. Like if he was in a Marty's 2-start pitchers, it would be above take a seat. I think that's risky business, and I need to sharpen up on that. But I think the blow up is coming.
All right. Again, that's Kris Bubic. Let's go to our next player. Oh, we got Jasper checking in here. What's up, Jasper? Good evening, boys.
What's up?
Hope all is well. What's going on with you, my friend? How is your evening going? So got our buddy there.
David, I just want to quickly say you're doing an amazing job saying the player's name at the end of each segment.
That was one of the things that people asked. They said,
yeah, that was good. I'm glad you did
podcasts.
that. I'm glad you did that.
Thank you. Jonathan Hernandez now, the closer for the Texas Rangers, and he's the de facto closer as of right now. 2 saves since he was activated. It's been 8 games since then. And my question to you, Elsie, is he going to stay closing with the imminent return of Joe Barlow here? What are your thoughts about Jonathan Hernandez being worth a pickup for saves?
I think it could be a waste of a pickup. They seem to like Barlow as the closer. They gave him the opportunity earlier. But Barlow was supposed to be coming off of the IL on Tuesday. All indication is that he did not come off the IL on Tuesday. Hernandez's last save was on the 4th. So that was a week ago. I'm not sure if they've had any opportunities for saves since then. He's barely pitched, so like Texas hasn't shown their hand on this one with him, like giving him multiple opportunities. But then again, they might not have had other opportunities to give him saves. Barlow, I think, is who they'd prefer to have the job. He obviously was dealing with an injury and some confidence issues in July when they took the job away from him. So, but I think they want to give it back to him when he gets back. That's my gut feeling on it. And you're just going by gut now. I think you pick up Hernandez right now if you have an opportunity, because Barlow doesn't seem to be back from the IL yet. These finger injuries can linger. Who knows what might have been a setback. So Hernandez, I think, as of right now, has the job. But when Barlow comes back, my gut says it's Barlow's job.
All right. LC is a Barlow guy, but milk the saves while you can for Jonathan Hernandez. And Jasper says work picked up 12-hour plus days, Saturday too. Gotta have that money, man. Jasper, you are on a grind, my friend. Much respect to that.
Set. Yeah.
Let's talk about last player here, Jose Quintana. His last 2 starts, 12 innings, 8 hits, 2.25 ERA, 4 walks, and 13 strikeouts. Went into Coors yesterday and gave a quality start, but are we trusting him down the stretch? I mean, if you can go into Coors and put up a quality start, you're saying something. You're also good to a team like the Cardinals, who seem like they have a good understanding of pitching. I have not looked deep enough in to see his last 2 starts to see if they've tweaked anything in terms of just his usage of pitches. But I am intrigued with Jose Quintana. I think he could be somebody that's a valuable SP5 or someone you have on your bench. If he has like a 2-start week and you like his matchups, I don't think he should be sitting on your waiver wire anymore. I think Jose Quintana, he showed you over his last couple starts that he's got to be rostered at this point, I think, especially in points leagues. So that's Jose Quintana. Or do you guys disagree? Or I know, Doc, you boot it, but Quintana's performing right now.
He's got a
He is.
3.2 ERA, 3.21 ERA on the season.
He is. I mean,
All right.
I can't give him. I can't hate. I just don't like him.
All right.
I used
well,
to
there we go.
love him.
Yeah, you did. And that was a long time ago.